This is Anthony Watt with the Quad City Times, and I'm here with Mr. Copley of the Scott County Attorney's Office, and they have just announced the result of the Attorney's Office investigation into a fatal encounter between a Davenport police officer and a gentleman named Jason Morales on June 8th in Davenport. And Mr. Copley, could you tell me what were the results, and give me a couple of reasons about what led you to that conclusion?
Certainly. So just as kind of a very brief breakdown, as part of this case, Officer Catton responded to a Casey's gas station in the west end of Davenport. He made contact with Jason Morales. As part of that encounter, he learned that Mr. Morales had active warrants out for his arrest. When he attempted to arrest Mr. Morales on those outstanding warrants, Mr. Morales fled, pulled a handgun from his person and fired it in the direction of Officer Catton. A physical confrontation occurred on pretty uneven ground in darkness. Mr. Morales continued to be armed with a handgun, continued to attempt to be pointing it in the direction of Officer Catton. The gun was fully loaded, and so certainly Officer Catton believed reasonably that a threat to his life was very real, and so he responded with force by shooting Mr. Morales 4 times. The first 3 shots had no effect on Mr. Morales. Mr. Morales continued to fight with Officer Catton, continued to attempt to point the gun at him, and Officer Catton fired a 4th shot that was ultimately fatal for Mr. Morales.
Okay, and what have you determined about this case based on the evidence presented to you?
Pursuant to Iowa Code Section 704.1, the actions of Officer Catton were justified and reasonable under the circumstances, and he certainly used reasonable force given what he was faced with.
Okay, thank you.